What's going on, guys? Asian Guy here, bringing you my tier list for Legends as a sub. This is going to be January 2020. Thank you very much for tuning into the video and a happy new year. This time round, I'm not going to be doing captain tier list right now. I might upload one maybe next week, but I think it's pretty obvious who the new best legends are on OPTC. It's Luffy, Zorro, and the new Sanji. They're kind of head and shoulders above everyone else right now, but we'll talk about that in a future video. This time around, we're going to be looking at legends and how good they are as a sub. But being a sub is completely different to being a captain, so that's why I don't want to combine them. That's why I don't want to mix them up. You can't really say this legend as a sub is so much better than this legend as a captain, because at the end of the day, it's all about the team that you have and what piece of content you're trying to take on. Team building is not as simple as you have 6 units, you put them on your team, and these 6 units can now beat every single piece of content in the game. There's no team in the game that is actually able to beat every piece of content in the game. So how we're going to rank this is, or how we're going to prioritize or weight this, I should say, is that we're going to have different pieces of content ranked differently. And for me, the most important content that everyone actually does, or everyone tries to do, is Kizuna Kessen, or Bond Battle, whatever it's called on global. Kizuna Kessen, I'm sure everyone knows what I'm talking about. This is the most important piece of content along with treasure map mode on the game, but treasure map mode is so heavily focused around putting on the treasure map mode sugo-fest, we're not really going to prioritize that too much right now. After treasure map mode, it's going to be stuff like blitz battles and also special events, special ranking events, special damage ranking events, stuff like that. There's always a few units out there that really pump up your damage numbers, and they're really helpful. Same thing with Kizuna Kessen. The third one is GARP challenges. Now, GARP challenges, the rewards are absolutely beautiful, but however, you just clear them once and you're pretty much done with them until the next GARP challenge comes along, but they are still very, very important. For team building, for all 3 of these, you'll see a common theme where certain units or certain legends will pop up many times over and over, especially for GARP challenges. Stuff like V2 Katakuri is very, very important, where you don't really have that much, you don't have many options to pick from. And then we have Endgame Colosseum, Endgame Raids, where the options for these last 2 pieces of content, there's a lot of options, including free-to-play options as well. Whereas the first 3, there are free-to-play options, but if you really want to be optimal and you want to have the easiest time, then pay to win is the way forward. Whereas the difference between free to play and pay to win units, when I say pay to win, I mean rare recruits or legend units, for Colosseums and also for raids, is really not that big. You'll save maybe 15 seconds worth of timing during your runs at most. But let's get into the legend tier list here. Something else I want to add as well is that I've added in the what's the word? The tone, the feel of practicality. In previous tier lists I've done, captain tier list, for example, I've said that if you have every single unit maxed out, plus 200 candy, fully rainbowed, fully limit broken plus, and you have everything at your disposal, every single unit in the game, because that's how you put every single legend at an even playing field. That way, you'll be able to have, for example, shooters and even driven units can be considered good, especially shooters. Most of them have barrier penetration, limit break, and if you have every single shooter in the game with the barrier penetration at max, that's going to be bypassing a lot of different barriers, and that makes shooters very, very viable. But realistically speaking and practically speaking, I would say less than 1% of the player base can actually run a team like that. So we're going to put some practicality into this as well, so we can put the respect where it really belongs. So let's begin with S tier. Here we go. So, as I said, guys, before you freak out, Kizuna Kessen, most important. Then we have damage rankings and blitz battles and stuff like that. And then we have GARP challenges, and then we have stuff like Colosseum raids and any other normal daily kind of shenanigans that you get. So these 3 things are the most important. Kizuna Kessen, blitz battles and ranking events and special events like that, miscellaneous events, and then we've got GARP challenges. For this, overall, especially the first 2, more or less, the GARP challenges, you're really limited in what you can pick. But for Kizuna Kessen, which is a monthly occurrence, and even in treasure map mode, these 3 units are very, very useful. V2 Big Mom, V2 Shanks, and we've got Cracker. These 3 are like the best universal or universal, pseudo-universal, I guess you could say, legend subs that will ramp up your damage to the absolute extreme. every single Kizuna Kessen, the most optimal teams runs at least one of these units. Every single Kizuna Kessen, without fail. Without fail, you will see 1, 2, if not all 3 of these units shoved onto these different teams to be able to do those massive damage numbers, and you can farm your way all the way to Kingdom Come and Narnia in Kizuna Kessen as much as you want. These 3 legends, I have to say, they just stand head and shoulders above everybody else when it comes to Kizuna Kessen, damage rankings, blitz battles. You'll always find one of these 3. Most of the time, 2 of these 3, if not all 3, being used. And just how reliable they are, and how practical they are, how efficient they are, and how helpful they are to have in your box, I can think of no better 3 to have when it comes to farming the most important content in the game. In my opinion, the Kizuna Kessen and also Treasure Map Mode, Damage Ranking, Blitz Battles, where you get a big ton of juicy rewards. Row 2. We got Snake Man, and this is an interesting one here. Bear with me though. The new Osoba Mask, who is a universal attack booster by the way. And we've also got Corazon, Chopper, and V1 Rayleigh 6+. Now I think a lot of people are going to see that 6+ Rayleigh and going to be fuming. They're going to see the Snake Man or Osoba Mask and be fuming. And that will probably be because they didn't listen to the stipulations where I said Kizuna Kessen number 1, damage rankings, special rankings, miscellaneous rankings, miscellaneous events, also number 2, and then we've got Garp challenges, number 3. Now, you might be looking at Corazon, Chopper, and Rayleigh, and then thinking, why the hell is Shirahoshi and Manshari not up there? And I thought about this for a long while, and honestly speaking, Shirahoshi and Manshari, while they are amazing at removing debuffs, they don't actually remove the most prevalent and most common and most annoying debuffs in the game: Bind, Despair, Paralysis, Special Silence, of which Rayleigh, Chopper, and Corazon deal with all of them, or pretty much all of them, and a little bit of extra on top of that as well. They do have different varying numbers. Corazon is 3 turns removal, Chopper is 5 turns, Rayleigh is 7 turns, but Rayleigh at 7 turns doesn't remove everything. He removes Bind, Despair, Paralysis, and then he delays and has easier Perfect State, which is good for me, but not really that necessary for everyone else. Chopper has a crap ton, basically all of them, -5 turns. Corazon is 3 turns, but then his Sailor ability allows you to reduce Paralysis and also Special Silence by 1 turn. He has a fantastic Sailor ability. And then Rayleigh as well, a lot of people forget his Sailor ability, -2 turns to his cooldown every time someone else uses Special, and that is very good. And then Corazon also has a Limit Break that gives him that massive cooldown reduction as well. So those 3, in my opinion, are the utility gods. They are the utility gods. You can slap them on almost every single team where you're faced with these very annoying debuffs: Bind, Despair, Special Cooldown, or not Special Cooldown, Special Silence and Paralysis, and they'll get the job done. Osoba Mask and Snake Man. These 2 are also big universal damage boosters. Now the difference between these guys and the first 3 in S1 is that V2 Big Mom has a very unique attack boost, 3.5 times chain, the highest in the game, and also the base attack boost based on your HP. And when you're doing Kizuna Kessen, a lot of the time, your HP is going to be anywhere from 30,000 to 60,000. That's a bonus 300 to 600 attack, which is a lot. V2 Shanks, he gives the chain boost, he gives the matching orbs, which is huge, block orb manipulation as well, and also they 2.25 times attack boost, again, which is very big. And then Cracker, 2 turns of his boost, which is pretty dang insane, and also block orb manipulation, also different orb manipulation in there as well. Color affinity and chain boost, a bit more of the obscure boosts that you can get, whereas Snake Man, he gives you the chain boost, but it's only 0.7. It does last for 3 turns, which is very handy, but at the same time he also has an orb boost. But orb boost, most of the time there are many different units that can substitute for orb boost, but if you are lacking in that, this is where the practicality part comes in. A lot of people have Snake Man. If you don't even have Snake Man, you know, you can of course use the substitutes, but Snake Man is just so good. You can put him on many different teams. He's of course the typing of Powerhouse and Fighter. Powerhouse being one of the most common teams, one of the best teams right now to run, or one of the best classes to run right now, I should say. And you can just slap him on your team. You can use him as a captain, you can use him as a sub. Really depends on your preference and what the content is, and he will get the job done. Every single special that guarantees you a boost in the following turn, in my opinion, is very good. but at the same time, any special that gives you an absurd amount of damage on that one burst turn is also very, very, very good. Anyone that manipulates orbs as well, in my opinion, with a bunch of other boosts on top of that is also very, very, very good. That's why Osoba Mask is also in there. He goes up to a 2.5 times universal attack boost if you choose to use his special twice in one turn as a sailor. If you don't, he goes up to a 1.75 times attack boost, which is okay, but he does make tandem orbs beneficial for absolutely everybody in the game, which is superb, and he manipulates block orbs and every single orb and shuffles them into tandem orbs, giving you a 1.75 times or a 2.5 times universal attack boost. And to top it off, ladies and gentlemen, Osoba Mask is Powerhouse and Free Spirit, the two best classes in the game right now. This is a very, very big thing when I'm ranking legends, or when I'm ranking units, is what classes are they? What units can you combine with them because of their classes? And Powerhouse, Free Spirit, I don't think it's any debate. Free Spirit is the best class in the game right now, very closely followed by Powerhouse. And then beneath that, let's say Free Spirit is here, Powerhouse is here, Cerebral is probably here, everybody else is like down here. And you know, some of these can begin to pop up. I think Slasher will pop up in 2020. In fact, Slasher will probably be up here in around 2020. 2021, it might even be up there. Because we're in Wano, we're going to get a bunch of Samurai. We're probably going to get V2 Blackbeard first, or 6+ Blackbeard first, which is going to spice things up. But we all know where things are going to go. It's going to go to Slashers, and maybe Driven, and maybe more Free Spirit. I think Free Spirit is really going to keep bumping up there. And also, honestly, yeah, Powerhouse, V2 Kaido, another Big Mom's probably going to come out. Powerhouse is definitely going to go up. We've also got Kaido's Generals, or whatever they're called, coming. So, yeah, all of that is going to bump up Powerhouse right now. So, future-proofing wise, Osoba Mask, very, very, very good. I think he's going to be used a lot. If you're not going to use him as a captain, he's probably going to be used a lot as a sub in many different Kizuna Kessens and also damage rankings. Let's move on to S3 now. This is where things get a little bit more spicy and a little bit more controversial, let's say. So, we have Cerebral and Striker boosters, Inu Arashi and Neko Mamushi. Let's be real, these guys are absolutely insane as a sub. As a captain, very, very disappointing for what we had expected or kind of hyped them up to be, or what we wanted really. But as a sub, you know, you've got the attack boost, you've got the orb boost, and you only have to hit 2 perfects to get that orb boost, by the way. And it's a 2.25 times orb boost. Let's not forget, that's a very, very cheeky amount. It might actually be 2 times, but either way, beg your pardon, it's a very good amount. And on top of that, they have color affinity, and their switch ability does reduce 1 turn of despair, but their switch ability, not the greatest thing in the world, because they don't guarantee themselves the orb, which is a little bit disappointing. Vivi and Rebecca. If these guys were universal color affinity boost instead of Cerebral and Striker, oh my god, would they be up there? They would probably be an S1 if they were universal. However, unfortunately, they are not. But their switch ability is superb. The overall special is superb as well. But the dual form, unfortunately, does lose. I believe they lose the Free Spirit typing and they become Cerebral and Striker. Imagine if they were Cerebral and Free Spirit in their dual form. How busted would that be? However, let's not forget, they guarantee you a very nice heal at the end of the turn if you switch them, and a 2.5 times chain lock every single turn if you want it by switching them around, and it's superb. And they remove 2 of the most annoying enemy buffs in the game, defense up and % damage reduction, completely. So good. But at the same time, their usage is really only limited to content where you either want the color affinity boost because you're running a Cerebral or Striker team. They give a 2 times color affinity boost, but their use is only limited to that. You want the color affinity boost, or you want to remove the enemy buff, defense up, or also the % damage reduction they have. So and before I forget, stuff like GARP challenges where you want to cheese out with a pseudo zombie team, or you just want that guaranteed healing every single turn. The chain lock is also very, very nice as well. So for stuff like GARP challenges, they really do excel, even in Colosseums and also in raids. Anywhere you see that annoying enemy buff, defense up, 99 plus turns, I know Charlotte Linlin, the invasion raid, has that as well. 99 plus turns of percent damage reduction. You just whack them on your team, remove that debuff, you get yourself a chain lock as well, and you can heal every single turn. Makes stalling very, very, very easy. So that's why I've got Vivi and Rebecca, even though they're kind of a cheese sub, above everybody else in S4. I'll get to that point later when we move down to S4. Sanji and Judge. Not much to be said here. They're powerhouse. They make Psy, Tandem, and Meat Orb, so you don't necessarily have to use Zunisha. Psy, Tandem, Meat Orb's beneficial for powerhouse units. And they give an attack boost, an orb boost, and they remove paralysis, and they also give a chain boost, which can stack with a chain boost special boost, if that makes sense. Which is pretty damn insane with their switch ability. Guarantees themselves a Tandem Orb as well. Sanji and Judge, really, really good powerhouse sub. You might be thinking, but when the hell will I use Sanji and Judge as a powerhouse sub? Plenty of times on, for example, Snake Man. If you want to use Snake Man as your captain, and you want to use double Snake Man, or you want to use Snake Man with another powerhouse captain, or Whitebeard and Marco, they're absolutely superb. If you're running a Whitebeard Marco team, you want powerhouse boost. They're also Psy as well. Works really, really well. Any unit that has that is superb. Powerhouse, very powerful class. Don't have to emphasize it that much more. Also works on a Kaido team as well. So they're very, very good as a sub as well. We have got 6+ Nami. Now, 6+ Nami, I'm not too sure about 6+ Nami because she is an orb boost. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but I really do like it when units have an attack boost. Because attack boosts are so difficult to come by these days, even in just a rare recruit form. There's loads of legends that give you an attack boost, and a pretty good attack boost at that, but not all of them have orb manipulation in them as well, which is what I really like, which is what I really think is the most important thing to have. Orb manipulation plus the attack boost or whatever other boost you want to put with it. But with Nami, she gives you a color affinity boost and orb boost as well. But she is restricted to certain classes, which makes things a little bit tricky. Not super universal, pseudo universal, I would say. And most teams already have a dedicated orb booster. Color affinity though is always very nice, and she does remove a few debuffs, but her use, I would say, is very much limited to beating quick content or certain content in Kizuna Kessen. And damage rankings as well, she does excel quite a lot. She's good because she has 2 different boosts in there, and she also does make Dex Orbs beneficial. So that is V1 Nami 6+. Hopefully she does make Dex Orbs beneficial because I'm not 100% certain on that. I think she does, but I'm not 100% certain. Now this one, I think is going to upset a few people. 6+ Lucy. Now 6+ Lucy, he's only just come out. There's no real way to test how effective he's going to be. But my prediction is, this is a speculative one, so you can essentially erase 6+ Lucy from this page. I think 6+ Lucy, or 6+ Sabo here, is going to be a very, very, very useful sub. He is, of course, fighter and free spirit. He's got that free spirit typing, boys. And he is an attack booster of 3 very good classes: strength, dex, and quick. And he also has special silence. It's either special silence or special rewind removal. Either way, both of those sailor abilities, whichever one he has, is useful. But to top it off, any boost that carries over to the next turn, he only has to hit 3 perfects now. In my opinion, very, very, very good. That is always helpful to have, and I just think he's going to be useful. He also has cooldown reduction in his kit now, so he reduces everyone's cooldown as well. I think he's going to be good. I really do think he's going to be very useful. 2 turns of attack boost is superb. Going to be seen on a lot of Snake Man teams. That's my prediction. Going to be seen on a lot of Snake Man teams. Going to be seen on a lot of Wano, Luffy, and Zorro teams. I really do think he's, beg your pardon, going to excel. Sorry, I just had a big meal, so I'm burping a lot. But I do think he's going to excel. But that's speculation. You can kind of wipe him off the list if you want. But that's my speculation. I think he's going to be that good. Onami. Now, Onami, I was really not sure if I wanted to put her here. If I even wanted to drop her down to A tier. Because she is very, very niche, to say the least. If the enemy doesn't have... let me phrase it this way. She excels when the enemy has defense down, debuff, protection. That's a mouthful, that is. Defense down, debuff, protection is really not that common. But when they do have it, or if they don't have any defense down, debuff, protection at all, or they don't have any debuff protection at all, she is so good. Because if you can, anywhere you can reduce defense, or break defense, or remove that debuff, or the debuff protection the enemy has there, she is going to absolutely take your damage through the roof. She's going to absolutely make it bonkers. But the one downside here is if the enemy does have debuff protection, like just flat debuff protection, she's essentially useless, right? She's essentially useless. So it really depends on the content that you're running. But because she's so niche and because she excels, and she's the only one that does it aside from, I believe, 5+ Niji, but 5+ Niji just isn't on the same caliber here, she's very, very, very helpful to have. I'm sure she's going to be there. She's going to be able to replace, for example, the damage you get from Color Affinity. Like her damage ×2, and also she has innate healing if you are not max HP. That's a little bit of a bonus meme, but if you are max HP and you're able to remove enemies defense down, debuff protection, it guarantees you a piece of damage ×2 bonus where you weren't able to have it before if you didn't have her. So very, very good unit, but very situational at the same time. But that can be said for everyone in S4 other than Sabo and Koala and Quick Whitebeard. But everyone else here, Barto and Cavendish, Shirahoshi Mancherry, Whitebeard Marco, and V2 Katakuri, very situational. You only really see these guys used in stuff like GARP challenges to cheese the fudge out of the content. Let's be real. Dex, Barto, and Cavendish, god damn it, I said it. I said Dex, Barto, and Cavendish. I tried so hard not to say it. But Barto and Cavendish, they are amazing for stalling. They are like stalling gods. But outside of that, Driven, you're not really going to use them. You can use them on Kaido teams because they're striker if you want to stall stuff out. But again, it's really only there if you want to cheese content. They have no other use other than to cheese content, because you should be running them as your Driven captain if you're going to be running a Driven team. Most of the time, at the least, as far as I can think, there's no better Driven captain to go to right now. Other than, I guess, you could kind of cheese it on a Douglas Bullet team. But, you know, that's kind of pushing it. That's kind of pushing it and being pedantic. So, realistically speaking, while they are superb as for stalling, they only excel, they only shine in GARP challenges. Kizuna Kesen, no, you don't need them. Damage rankings, no, you don't need them. Most of the time, damage rankings, you don't want AoE wave clear. That will kill everyone on the enemy team for fodder. So, no, don't really excel there. As subs for Colosseum and also raids, no, you wouldn't really use them as a sub. Sabo and Koala. Now, Sabo and Koala would not be in here if Free Spirit wasn't absolutely freaking busted right now. But, again, attack boosts are very hard to come by, and they also manipulate orbs, and they do remove a debuff that was annoying at one point in the game, but we have not seen that debuff appear for at least 99+ turns for ages now. So that part of their special for removing that beneficial orb or unbeneficial orb or non-beneficial orb debuff, you know, that's not really a problem anymore these days. It could come back, but these guys definitely excel more as a captain. They are definitely more relevant nowadays as well. Very much used a lot in Kizuna Kesen teams, but it really depends, again, what kind of teams you're running. But Free Spirit, Cerebral, very, very good. You'll most likely have them as your Cerebral captain, but for Free Spirit teams, now with the introduction of Wano, Luffy, and Zorro, or Soba Mask, even with Luffy Ace teams, you can use them as a sub, and they're very, very good. The attack boost is not something to look over. 2.25 times attack boost with more manipulation, and they also have innate color affinity boost with the switch. Very, very, very good, and they guarantee themselves an orb as well, although not past a block orb. But looking past that, let's move on to Shirahoshi and Mancherry. Now, I touched on these guys earlier and why they are not really the utility gods. They do not remove bind, they do not remove despair or paralysis or special silence. I do believe special silence they deal with for 1 turn if you switch them around. They do give you rainbow orbs if you have matching orbs already, and they do guarantee your full board of matching orbs as well when you pop their special, and a lot of healing and 10 turns of removal for 2 different debuffs. Now, in my opinion, that actually looks amazing on paper. It looks amazing on paper, right? But it's very niche. And the cooldown is very, very high. It's like 16 turns. So I think for niche content, GARP challenge, they're like a must-have on GARP challenges. They're so, so good there, where you get a bunch of weird-looking debuffs. But in other content, for example, Colosseum and raids, they can be replaced by so many people, because when you're not cluster-fucked with different pieces of debuffs that aren't Bind, Despair, Paralysis, and Cooldown, or Special Silence, which are the most common debuffs anyway, that's when you want them. But outside of that, they don't really serve much of a purpose. So they're just nice to have there, so you can clear that very cheesy content. And we are getting new GARP challenges on Japan, monthly GARP challenges now. So in the future, February, you might see these guys bumped up. We still got to wait and see how useful they're going to be. Beg your pardon again. How useful they're going to be in these GARP challenges, and how important GARP challenges are going to be in February, March, or halfway through the year. Maybe GARP challenges will overtake Kizuna Kessen as the most important content in the game, or maybe they suddenly shine in treasure map mode. But I highly doubt it. So for the time being, I'm going to put them in S4 because GARP challenge is really the only place these guys shine. Whitebeard and Marco. Now Whitebeard and Marco, they shine on, for example, V2 Katakuri teams. But we all know V2 Katakuri teams are really not the most optimal for farming stuff, for farming anything really. Kizuna Kessen, not optimal. Treasure map mode, not optimal. GARP challenges, that's where they shine as well. But then Colosseums and Raids, you don't want to be using a slow-ass stalling team to do farming for, 30, 40 runs of farming. So Whitebeard and Marco, again, very good for stalling, but their use has really been limited down to, again, unfortunately, GARP challenges. So many different units that can be used just to replace what they do. They're there for healing. The HP cut is not great. There's so many barriers in the game, and they don't go through barriers. The healing is really not necessary unless you're doing GARP challenges. Again, the orb manipulation is nothing special. They make meat orbs beneficial when you switch them around. They guarantee you a meat orb, lets you heal, lets you stall out. But again, GARP challenge is where they excel. Every other piece of content, you don't really want to be using them as a sub. Same thing, again, goes for V2 Katakuri. However, with V2 Katakuri, you know what? If I could bump him up, I would bump him up. V2 Katakuri, I would bump him up to S3. If I could do that, I would bump him up. Swap him, and I guess either one of the Namis and one of the Lucys. Let's put V2 Katakuri in S3 because he is a must-have. Let's be real. Forests, if you have him, easy. GARP challenges, basically a must-have for almost most GARP challenge teams. For practicality as well, if you want to use a zombie team, if you want to use a snake man team, if you want a pseudo zombie team, or you just want to use the normal team or the most optimal team, V2 Katakuri is basically going to be on every single one of those teams. Not always necessary, but basically necessary. I'm not making any sense, but you guys understand what I'm saying. I know you guys understand what I'm saying. V2 Katakuri, superb to have, but in practical use for farming stuff like Colosseum, Kizuna Kessen, Raids, no, you're just not going to use him as a sub because it just slows things down. It just slows things down. I guess in Colosseum and Raids, he has more use than, for example, Whitebeard and Marco, Bato and Cavendish, and then Shirahoshi and Mancho. So let's move V2 Katakuri up to S3. I'm going to make that decision now live on the video. V2 Katakuri up to S3, and then we have got Quickbeard. Now Quickbeard, again, attack boost, chain boost, has 400,000 fixed damage. He has a HP based special where if you're under 30%, I believe, he removes something like 20 turns of despair. Not sure when you need that, but it's nice to have. It's nice to have, and he also gives you an absurd amount of damage reduction. But most of all, he's there because he's powerhouse, and of course, chain boost, attack boost, absolutely superb. If you really wanted to play around and cheese that little bit extra, you can have the damage reduction and also the despair removal. So quick Whitebeard as well, I would put up there in S tier. So this is my S tier list. A tier, I probably won't go into too much depth here. We're just going to blast through A tier. And the top row here, A1, is really just there. Because most of these, well, I would say most of these, it's only Halloween Ace that excels as a captain here. The other four, they're basically there as the attack boosters for their respective teams. I cannot express, or all boosts I should say with V2 Akainu, I cannot express how often, I burped again, beg your pardon, how often this Kuzan, the V2 Akainu, is used for Kizuna Kessen. They use so much when you got the typings, and also just for raids and Colosseums, they shine a lot. They shine big time. But again, they're limited, they're not universal. They're limited to certain teams and also certain colors, and often with especially V2 Akainu's case, you might have to end up bringing other orb manipulators to compensate for his orb manipulation if you get a bad roll, for example. Halloween Ace, 2.5 times attack boost, and 10 turns of bind removal. It's absolutely superb. Unfortunately, it's very simple. That's it. 2.5 times attack boost and the bind removal. The bind removal can often just go to waste, so you want the attack boost always there with orb manipulation, because those two go hand in hand, right? Whereas bind removal and attack boost does not always go hand in hand. There's many instances where it does, but most of the time you would rather have it with orb boost or another attack boost or chain boost or color affinity boost, something else that boosts your damage. So that's what I meant when I said attack boost twice there. Moving on, we do have Zorro. He carries over to the next turn if you are able to hit your perfects, I believe. So again, superb for slashers, but slashers aren't of course the best class in the world right now, but I still give him the benefit of the doubt because carrying over to the next turn, always very, very nice. Frankie. Frankie is kind of pseudo-universal, which is why I have him up here. He also removes block orbs. Unfortunately, doesn't make them matching, but we've got many different units in the game that give you a full board of beneficial orbs, so I don't consider that too big of a problem. The thing with beneficial orbs is they can't deal with block orbs, but Frankie, you get the attack boost, you get a bit of a HP cut, you get rid of the block orbs, and then you can get the beneficial orb effect, maybe even just from the captain ability of a certain unit. He's also very good, unfortunately, because I don't like Frankie, guys. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like him as a character, I don't want to use him, but many times I have found myself having to rely on 6+ Frankie or stuff like Kizuna Kessen or damage rankings, unfortunately, because he does give the juicy 2 times or 2.25 times attack boost depending on how many enemies there are. So that's that, unfortunately. We have got Shirahoshi and Marco, the 2 healers in the game that aren't in S tier. I'm really hoping I've got the wrong Shirahoshi image here, because the other Shirahoshi, 6+ Shirahoshi, although I have to say I do like 6-star Shirahoshi's artwork more. 6+ Shirahoshi, Rainbow Orbs, delicious, and then she also removes, I believe, 15 turns of recovery down and also no heal debuff, which I gotta say is not that useful in today's meta, really not that useful. Most of the time Limit Break deals with no healing debuff in the first place, but practicality wise, free to play friendliness wise, if you don't have those limit breaks, then maybe 6+ Shirahoshi can help you there, but she does. Basically, that's it. Healing, rainbow orbs, it's all well and good, but doesn't see much use today, even in GARP challenges. At most, you'll see her used in, for example, Forests, Raid Lucci, not the Stampede Lucci, Raid in Lucci. Shirahoshi was useful there, but that's about it. That's really about it. Marco as well. He gives you that orb boost, 2-turn orb boost at that, and also makes, I believe, it makes quick Psy orbs beneficial for quick Psy units. Maybe meat orbs or tandem orbs, one of those, or just maybe just quick and Psy orbs. But that aside, fighter powerhouse is what keeps him going. That's what really keeps him going, just that extra little bit, the fact that he's powerhouse, and of course he's Marco. No, I'm not going to be biased because he's Marco, but the heal is of course nice, and the 2-turn orb boost many times are actually quite useful on mini boss stages. If I recall correctly, there are a few teams that use the 6+ Marco to deal with Raid Carrot's mini boss stage, so pretty useful there, but that's one of the few places. Again, Forest, GARP challenges, you can use him there. Komurasaki, quick and int orb and attack booster, 2 times boost to each. Orb manipulation doesn't deal with block orbs, but does make all your orbs into quick and int, which is pretty good. It would be better if she made int orbs beneficial as her sailor ability. Her sailor ability only makes quick orbs beneficial, which is not that amazing, because if you roll an int orb, you know, it might not count as beneficial. Same problem V2 Akainu and also V2 Kuzan have as well there, if you're using them as a sub. 6+ Usopp, very good for cheesing content, but also still very good in, for example, Kizuna Kessen if you want to get some sort of delay damage boost or any kind of bonus damage boost. It's more so he's there for practicality. Most of the time he's not the optimal unit to have, but he can be used to substitute for certain other damage boosters at the cost of another space on your team, because a lot of different boosters in the game now are self-conditional boosters, which is very nice now. But 6+ Usopp, all he does is give you that delay HP cut, which is not that big because HP cuts normal attack damage boost or normal attack damage debuff, or just the enemies healing up if they get HP cut is a very common theme nowadays. 6+ Jimbe! Now this 6+ Jimbe, I'm considering as fully limit broken with the limit break plus. His cooldown goes down to 8. And it's a very useful special he has. Removes a bunch of annoying buffs the enemy has. Defense up and also the % damage reduction as well. And he gives you a full board of matching orbs if you're fighters. So very, very useful special there. Very much used in a lot of different raids. But outside of that, Kizuna Kessen, I guess he probably does in treasure map mode. He has a lot of use. I don't know why, but he's boosted a lot in treasure map mode. But Kizuna Kessen, every now and then you might see him pop up. And then special damage ranking events, I don't think he's very useful there. But Colosseums and raids, you do see him used quite often. Next up, we have the row of the chain lockers. So we've got four different chain lockers here. We've got V2 Rayleigh, Dex Sabo, Garp, and Zorro. Take your pick. They all do chain locks and they all do something else on top of that. Rayleigh, if you're under a certain amount of HP, doesn't have, a cluster fudge of stuff. He also has an orb boost, which is only 1.75 times, whereas Sabo has the orb boost at 2.25 times and chain lock at 3 times as well. They're all 3 times chain locks except for Zorro, who is a 3.25 times chain lock. But Sabo, the problem with Sabo is that while he does boost orb for free spirit units, which is superb, and he also does it for fighter and shooter units, he's not free spirit typing. So that's unfortunate, isn't it? Because if you want to put him on a free spirit team and you have a free spirit attack boost, he's not going to get the free spirit attack boost. If you have color affinity for free spirit units, he's not going to get that. So he's really there as a sub for Halloween Ace teams. And Halloween Ace teams are superb. If you have Halloween Ace and this Sabo, they pair absolutely beautifully. You get yourself your chain lock, your orb boost, and attack boost, and you have absolutely rocket high numbers at 3 times chain lock and 2.25 times orb boost and 2.5 times attack boost. They are the dream combination for shooters right now. But that's about it. He does nothing else other than that, and I believe he makes a certain orb in his sailor ability beneficial to everyone as well, which is pretty helpful there. Garp. Now Garp, I personally think gets a lot of stick as a not very good legend, but his special is pretty good. His special is pretty good. It removes, I believe, special silence. It has a chain lock, which is of course nice, 3 times, and then 30% HP cut, which goes through barriers. That's a lot of damage. Of course, it's not that useful in Kizuna Kessen because the enemy will either debuff you if you HP cut them, or they will heal back to full. But outside of that, for everything else, I think it's quite useful. I think it's quite useful, but that's about it. Zorro. Now, Zorro does feature every now and then in Kizuna Kessen, certain raids and certain Colosseums, because he gives you 4 guaranteed orbs, as long as they're not block orbs beforehand, but he will guarantee your captain's orbs. Most of the time, the captains are the highest boosted units on your team, and then he will also guarantee your bottom row units orbs as well. So your first 2 units, I mean, realistically speaking, when you got a chain lock, you only want to hit with, you have 5 units that are going to be doing the big damage, because the first hitter doesn't really matter when you got a chain lock going. So he guarantees 4 out of 5 orbs, which is pretty damn awesome. If you have VV support, you can guarantee yourself the 5th orb, which is also very funky. So Zorro at the 3.25 times chain lock, pretty solid as well. V1 Mihawk. Now V1 Mihawk, I actually had him at the top of A tier before. I was considering even putting him in S tier with his new Limit Break Plus, because his new Limit Break Plus gives him an additional 4 turns off. And I think that's going to be used a lot for speed runnings in raids and Colosseums in the future, and maybe even cheesing stuff like Garp challenges. You never know. I feel like there is a future here for 6+ Mihawk, because even now he sees use every now and then. But I do think with that cooldown reduction, even in stuff like Fortnite, he's going to be absolutely superb to have. One of the better 6+ and also one of the better Limit Break Pluses to have on your team or in your box. We've got 6+ now, the Fallen God. When he came out, oh boy was he busted. But 5 million damage cap is a little bit unfortunate. Looking at V2 Katakuri, who goes way beyond 5 million damage. But he is one of those for the zombie teams. For cheesing content, he's great there. But everywhere else, Kizuna Kessen, absolutely no use in Kizuna Kessen whatsoever. Beg your pardon. Treasure map mode again. No, just no. Garp challenges, yes, he does have a use in certain Garp challenges, but V2 Katakuri really outshines him there. He still does have a use though. Forests, anyone can really do forests nowadays, let's be real. Raids and Colosseums, never the optimal. He's just never ever the optimal. But you never know. With the Garp challenges amping up again, or ramping up again, we could see the comeback of 6 personnel as a much more used sub in the game. We'll just have to wait and see. Next up, we have got gear for V2 Luffy. So, this one, universal attack boost, free spirit unit, and also fighter. That's pretty much it. He can also make meat orbs and tandem orbs beneficial. That's pretty much it. He's a universal attack booster. He might need to be even higher, but I feel like many teams at 2 times attack boost, where he doesn't guarantee an orb manipulation, they already have, you know, beneficial orbs for meat or tandem, or maybe they just don't want meat or tandem orbs in the first place, or they're not going to roll that anyway because a lot of units will switch your orbs to matching orbs or color orbs or something like that. We'll have to wait and see. I feel like Gear 4 V2 I might need to put higher up. We'll just have to wait and see. Most people have evolved their Gear 4 V2 as a Snake Man, which is why we really don't see him often. But I do feel like he has many places to be used. Universal attack booster, 2 times. Can't go wrong with that. We have the Free Spirit Color Affinity Booster in 6+ Boa. Originally in B tier, but I felt like I had to bump her up because she's a Color Affinity Booster and she's Free Spirit. Free Spirit best class in the game right now. There are many different Color Affinity Boosters for Free Spirit, but Boa is one of them, so I felt like she had to be there. 6+ Lore. Good at cheesing content. Again, he's one of those cheese legends. He's there if you want it for Garp challenges. Certain raids and Colosseums, you can use him to cheese if you want to use 6 personnel, V1 Mihawk, Katakuri, V2 Katakuri, or even V2 Dofi. We have got next the Fallen King of Dressrosa. V2 Dofi has been nerfed into oblivion. I say this every single time. He has been nerfed into oblivion. Kizuna Kessen, no. Treasure map mode, maybe if he's boosted, he can be used as a sub. Garp challenges, so depends on the Garp challenge. And then Colosseums and raids again, really depends on the Colosseum and raid because there's lots of barriers. If you pair him up with 6+ or maybe you could deal with it, but you're sacrificing 2 subs at that point. So I do feel like you have to be bumped down because he is very much situational and very much reliant on the other units on your team. Whereas 6 personnel is healing. V1 Mihawk, low cooldown, and also not based on your overkill damage, so you don't really have to burst super hard, and you have to hit your perfects or you have to hit your greats, and you have to do all this funky stuff to get the damage output that V2 Dofi would have. But yeah, V2 Dofi I think just doesn't see that love because he's driven cerebral. Although V1 Mihawk is only slasher. But V1 Mihawk is, I bumped him up because of the future proofing. I think he has a little bit of hope now. We have now got a Legend Brook. Now Legend Brook, when he first came out, everyone was like, damn, he's a good sub. But I feel like we have not seen him used too much as a Legend sub. And ironically, we saw him used a lot as a captain for cheesing a lot of content. But he has also been nerfed like V2 Dofi into goddamn oblivion. Regardless though, he's a fantastic damage reducer, fantastic at making beneficial orbs into beneficial, I should say. He's a great healer as well, and I believe he also makes, it's either tandem or meat orbs, or maybe even both of them, beneficial for all units as well, which is superb. And then he will also do a HP cut to enemies, or instantly obliterate all of them if they're under 432k HP, I believe is the number, somewhere around that. So yeah, very solid sub in my opinion. We have also got 6+ Judge. Someone we don't see a lot, but he's a powerhouse attack booster. He has also got damage reduction in his kit, which is a little bit strange. But he's just the powerhouse attack booster and I guess driven and also fighter attack booster as well. So that's why he's there. That's pretty much it. He's kind of, I'm not going to say he's universal. He's there. He's there. So there's that. That is the tier list, guys. A tier and S tier. There's so many other units, honestly speaking, that I could have put in A tier at the bottom of A tier, I feel like. But realistically speaking, I didn't want to talk about A tier for too long. Most of you guys already know which subs are good. S tier is the one that I want to hear the conversation about, guys. I want to hear the most conversation about S tier. Bear in mind, I want to also emphasize that the top 2 rows of A tier could also challenge for the bottom row of S tier. So I would say everyone at the top of A tier could arguably challenge everyone at the bottom of S tier. So S4. And of course, V2 Katakuri, we're bumping him up to S3. Let me know your thoughts and opinions, guys. How would you prioritize all of the different pieces of content in the game? Would you put Garp Challenge at the top? Or would you put Kizuna Kessen at the top? Or Treasure Map at the top? Or Raids and Colosseums at the top? I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. That is a lot of me rambling, 45 goddamn minutes. But thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Of course, as always, every time I emphasize, if you clearly skip the explanation and stipulation part and you just jumped to the conclusion and started typing your angry message, I'm afraid I can't take you seriously. If you're not going to take me seriously, I've got to return that same energy to you. Treat others how you want to be treated. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Remember to hashtag Jankabandai with a bellissimo and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Hope you enjoyed the video. Bye-bye.